Hi there, Dr. Caitlin Lee with Sin City News. We are now on part 2 of a video series that I am calling Preparation and Expectations. It's in regards to my gender reassignment surgery that took place just a couple of weeks ago. I am on day 18 post-operative, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yep, feeling pretty good. I have some energy and I'm able to move around a bit, but I warn you, don't overdo it, because even though you're feeling great, the smallest little bit of exertion makes you tired. It's time for a nap. So if this is the first time you've tuned in to my channel and this is the first video you're watching, there is a video just prior to this. It is part 1. I call it Realm of Reality. It takes you from the time that I knew that I needed to have surgery done through now there being a possibility that insurance would cover it, up until the, oh my, I got the pre-authorization letter, we're going forward with this. So you'd want to watch that first before you come to the series, to this part of the series. There's going to be probably, I'm guessing 7 or 8 or 9 more parts to this as well, because I'm doing them in small segments. Now, this is part 2. This part 2 is about the emotional and physical preparation for surgery. And I will talk a little bit about the physical part first for just a moment, because I'm healing very well, and yes, I'm overweight, yes, I have a high BMI, and yes, I'm 46. So all those things are stacked against you when you're looking at anesthesia and especially invasive surgery. So healing can be a little more difficult. But what really helped me was an article that was published by Dr. Stephen Sinatra, and I will post his link at the description, under the description here in YouTube. So please make sure you click on it and read it. For any type of surgery that you're having, I am not giving medical advice or medical opinion. I am strictly sharing my experience with you. But it made a huge difference for me to be on a lot of supplements and minerals prior to my surgery. I really, truly believe it played a huge role in how well I am healing. And yes, there was an upfront cost of probably about $200 between CVS, Costco, Sam's Club, Walgreens for me to go around and get everything that I needed. But well worth it. It included things like bromelain, arnica, vitamin C, zinc, milk thistle, probiotics, fish oil. I know I'm missing those little red pills and can't think of it offhand. But CoQ10, it's called CoQ10. And there's a bunch of other stuff too. But well worth it. I think it has a lot to do with where I am today in recovery. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about preparation. So now I have my letter in hand. I verified it like 20 million times just to make sure that this was true and I wasn't going to wake up from a dream. I contacted my physician's office. They scheduled a date for me for surgery. That date was April 30th, 2015. I was going to check into the hospital at 6:30 a.m. with a surgery time of 9 a.m. It's going to be about an 8 or 9 hour surgery. And there's a lot of things that take place between in that period of time. I myself had about a month and a half from my approval letter with insurance until my surgery date. So not only are you dealing with physical preparations or emotional preparations, now you're dealing with lodging, just the logistics of things. If you live in the area of the San Francisco Bay, it wouldn't be so difficult. If you had family that was able to travel with you, it wouldn't be so hard. In my case, my husband was unable to come because both of us could not afford to be out of work at the same time. So he had to stay here and continue working and keep the house up and take care of the puppy. And my mom and dad are up in age, so they were unable to come. So I had to rely on a couple of friends that I have in the Bay Area, and they were there to look in on me. Also, they were there to help with transportation from the hospital into the doctor's office if needed. I did recover at a beautiful hotel, so it was nice to just have that self-reflection time, and I looked at it as a self-improvement retreat during my recovery. So I did stay in a hotel, and when I was cleared, I flew home. So just to let you know, once that's aside, you've made all your airline reservations, hotel reservations, figured out your post-operative appointment dates and how you're going to get there and your transportation, and all of that, then it's time to, take care of yourself. I started the mineral and vitamin supplements that I talked about earlier. So that's something that was a daily chore every day. I also tried to reach out to as many resources as possible to find out what it was going to be like to go through the surgery and what my post-operative recovery was going to be like. It was very unfortunate that I met a lot of resistance in the trans community for people that wanted to share, people who didn't want to share their experiences with me. And that's kind of sad, but that is also one of the reasons why I'm putting these video series together. And I'm starting public speaking at universities and for public and private organizations to help educate people about being transgender and what it's like to go through these processes, and hopefully to reach out to other transgender people to help answer some of their questions as well. So I didn't get very far, so I had to kind of learn on my own by my experience. So prior to surgery, there's a lot of things that could happen. You start questioning yourself. Do you think this was a good idea? Am I doing the right thing? What if something goes wrong? Then you start thinking of all the things that can go wrong. Pulmonary embolisms, deep vein thrombosis, vaginal anal fistulas, heart attacks, anesthesia issues, cardiac arrest. You wouldn't believe the things that go through your mind. So you're really dealing with your mortality, thinking of all the things that you did wrong in your life that you're trying to make right, all the apologies that you want to issue, telling everybody that you love them in case you don't see them again. You sit down and you write letters to everybody. If I die, I leave you my pet cat. I don't have a cat, but I'm just saying. So you really do go through that. You go through that depression where you're just quiet and you're just introverted. You just find yourself really turning inward. Then you have those excitement moments, like, I can't believe this is finally happening. So it's an emotional roller coaster, emotionally to get to the surgery date. So there's a lot of things that happen. For me, I've never really talked openly or publicly about my situation. I mean, I've always been in a high-profile position as either a director on television, as a news anchor, a reporter, a radio announcer. So there were positions that might not have always been the best choice to kind of divulge this information publicly. But I'm to the point I just don't care. I love who I am, and I'm not requiring anybody else to feel the same way towards me. So if you love me, great. If you don't, that's good too. So I'm very thankful that when I did go public with people at work and some of my family that didn't know and my friends and such, I had overwhelming support. I can't think of anything negative that was said. Everybody was very loving and supportive and still continues to be today. So that was my personal experience with everyone. I know not everybody's that fortunate, but I'm very thankful that I was. So now we make it to, now we're 2 weeks prior to surgery. During the last 2 weeks prior to leaving, of course, you're getting very anxious. There are things you have to do. You have to stop taking hormones, and you have to stop taking the fish oil, and there's a booklet they send you of all the do's and don'ts almost every day of those 2 weeks pre-op of what needs to happen, what doesn't need to happen. I wanted to be extra cautious. It certainly is not required, I don't believe, for everybody, but on my own, I have an amazing primary care physician here, Celeste Atkinson, who I love dearly. She is really just, I think we're learning a lot from each other about this. So I wanted to have an entire blood workup done, an EKG done, a cardiac stress test, just to make sure that I was in good health and that I had a really good chance of a good recovery, an outcome for this. So she worked with me on that, and I took care of those issues and had a good thing. Everything came out okay. Met some wonderful doctors that did some of my pre-op work. But also before you have surgery, there's a whole process of hair removal that you need to go through. I think it's worse than the surgery. So what I'm talking about is genital hair removal, where they take the shaft of the penis and they take the scrotum and they take little needles and stick them inside and introduce electrical shock and take the hairs out so the hairs don't grow back. I mean, who wants a vagina with hair growing out of it. I keep thinking of that Broadway show, the plant and like a big Venus flytrap. Anyhow, bad thought. So it is painful. My recommendation is you can talk to your physician, see if they will give you a prescription for something called EMLA, E-M-L-A. It's a topical ointment. It's like a lidocaine that numbs the area. It helps a great deal. I also popped a Loratab or Oxycontin a time or two to numb the pain. Whatever it takes to get through it, but it is an important factor in surgery. For those stray hairs that may have been missed, they will cauterize those during surgery, but when cauterizing them during surgery, you can lose some sensation. So that's why they want you to have it removed prior to the surgery, so you maintain as much sensation that you possibly can. So now we're prepared, hair's removed, supplements are done. We have all these routines that we need to follow and instructions for every day. So now it's time to get to the night before the surgery, to get to the hospital, and we're going to put that in the next video, part 3. So stick around for Sin City News. I'm Dr. Caitlin Lee. Remember to make every moment count.